Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of the Managersim beginner series at Elfsborg. And this episode will be mostly concentrated on what's been going on with the side after the pre-season break. And we had our first ever match in Europe as well in the Intertoto Cup, and I'll show you how that went. So let's go to the squad. First of all, as always, you go into the info screen when you first arrive at your club, and we're currently doing pretty decent in club capital, about 27 million. Our stadium's been expanded to 31,000. We had a full audience in our Intertoto game, which was no surprise, so we had a good, nice money boost there. With a sixth youth academy now, so that's pretty decent as well. This is the first time I've come back onto the Elfsborg save since the last actual episode that we've done. So, as you can remember, before we actually came back here, we didn't know who our Intertoto opponents were going to be because the previous run hadn't been done. Well, we got Utrecht. I probably pronounced that totally wrong. Sorry, someone can correct me on that. Which was a tough draw for us, I have to admit, a very tough draw because they are a pretty decent side. And also, I didn't get the chance to set my formation for that game because this game came up pretty quickly because, again, the only chance I came back on was today. And our reserves actually managed a home 1-1 draw. I'll show you the match report. There we go. There's Utrecht. Utrecht are a level 4 side, slightly better than us. They're based in Holland, of course, the Netherlands. And they've got a pretty decent side. But we could beat them. We could beat them. As you can see there, these reds means that they're very unfit. And they could result in... Well, you should never play anyone below 95 anyway. Or 90 if you have to. So we're against Utrecht, and our reserves managed a 1-1 home draw. And there's the match report. We had a sending off. Many of our youngsters played this. The only real decent player that we can remember is Kallstrom, and he had man of the match and he scored a goal. So we actually dominated the game. So a capacity crowd as well. We actually dominated the game. We did well on tackles and parcels, and we managed 1-1. But Utrecht got the away goal, which could be crucial for the next round. But now that I'm here and doing this with you guys, of course, I can now actually plan the first team to play in the next leg, which will be very soon. So the next episode you'll find out if we got through or not. So as you can see here, we've got the main side, the tactics and our strategy all done for the main 11. And our main 11 is looking pretty strong nowadays. We have still got the major problem of the squad being too big, so at the moment I can't, and I won't anyway, buy any players coming in or free transfers. We're still getting a good amount of decent youngsters coming into the side. I've never seen so many in one time. So yes, be interested to see what Elfsborg like in other game servers if they produce so many good youngsters. But this is what our first team looks like at the moment. So if I click play abilities, you can see them a bit better, and I'll make that a bit bigger for you. So Barak is in goal, the goalie that we bought to strengthen our defence. He's in, and you can see here Jacobson, this one means he actually played the game. That was the European game, and he actually played as goalie. We could have got hammered because 67 goalie rating is not very good for a first teamer, but he only conceded one goal. So we got Barak in goal. We got Garth and Oberman as our two defenders, 23 and 22. Bryce Khmer, our star defender, of course, wasn't playing in that European game, so he's going to be in. Then we got our midfield, Van Vinsberg, Schreckenberg. Ikerson, our youngster, is going to come in at right because he was a star youth player. Bolatti, Bucci. And then up front, we've got Ronenberg and Elkman. Oh, Elkman's contract is due. I better go and do that. to a bit more easy. He's on 23,000, no clauses. He probably wants a big chunk more. Yeah, they normally do when they're really good. So I'm going to give him 40,000 wages because we can afford that, and a bit longer contract this time. A tip here, if you get a lot of players asking for contracts in one go, like here we got about 6 at least, then it's best idea if you can spread the contracts out. So give someone 9 months, give another person a year, maybe another one 2 years, maybe 6 months. Then you don't have to deal with so many at one go. Safari, I've already done the contract for him. Tonovan, he's on the transfer list, so I'm not going to do a contract for him. And Bosmir, I did you with just now, yeah. And Stronenberg, you're on the list. I'm not going to do a contract. Now, you know when your club starts to get better because you'll start getting more and more bids from other sides for your players. These are your players who are not transfer listed. This is mostly from computer AI sides. But you might get an extraordinary high bid from a fellow human player sometimes. But you'll notice by how it flickers, and you can see how many bids I'm now getting for various players. Like Real Madrid, oh, actually are not managed by a human, would you believe that? And they're only level 2 as well. Wow. I could eventually go to Real Madrid if I really wanted to, but I like Elfsborg and they're very good for this beginner series. But you'll get loads of bids now from other teams wanting, like that is a high bid, that's 80 million, that could be a human doing that, and it is. Dear old Berhelm himself, the man who brought Managersim back to life, he wants 80 million for my defender. He knows this player is going to be good, but I'm sorry, he's not for sale. I've only just bought him, and yeah, well, I bought him in May. Yeah, actually, I can't sell him anyway because it's under the 3 months. So I can't sell him because it's under the 3 months contract because your player has got to be with your side for at least 3 months. And anyway, he's not for sale. Sorry, mate. So I'm going to say no to that. So that was an extraordinary high bid. So I knew that was from a human manager. But all these, I think mostly all these are from computer sides because the bids are pretty low. So you could do this in 2 ways, but again, you have to remind yourself every tick as a game progresses, you'll get AI bids for your players. So it might be just a waste of time. You could just leave these bids here and they will eventually go, or you could do this, you could go there and say no and the bid goes, but then it might reappear in the next tick. Danny Norman was a loan bid from Celtic from my mate. And yeah, so he wants him on loans. That's fine. I think he'll play some games at Celtic. So yeah, you need to build your squad up, mate. So yeah, if you want to make any more loan bids, I've got plenty of youngsters. Please do. I'll forget all these other bids. No point because they will disappear eventually. So that's what the side looks like at the moment. Again, that was a shock that we played our reserves against Utrecht and we actually managed a good 1-1 home draw. They did get the away goal, so I'm hoping in the away leg we do much better and we actually get that goal and get to the next round because we had a capacity crowd, 29,000 people, which meant you should have got a lot of money. Yes, here we are, 800,000 in ticket sales, so we made 500,000 profit in that one game only. So you can see why being in Europe is so successful. And the more you progress in Europe, like for instance in the Champions League, the money gets really ridiculous because you get TV rights and ticket sales are, really good as well. So if you know you're going to go into Europe for many seasons, get your stadium, boost your stadium up, get those more seats in. Even if you don't fill capacity during a league game, during Europe you always will get capacity crowds, and that's where all your money then comes in. So we're looking at the fixtures coming up soon. We're still in pre-season, but Toto starts so early in June, when it's the earliest of the European competitions, that we've actually got friendly coming up against West Ham, which will be our reserve team, the same team that played in that European game. So they might be a little bit knackered. 92, 98, so not too bad. We got okay. There's an 87. He shouldn't really be playing. So I need to pick. He's a first teamer. And the 81. He's unfit. Buki's a first teamer. I'm not. Benson. Yeah, Benson. You can take part. You be there. So I'll give Strand a place on the bench now. 92, 98, 98. These are all the fitness levels. Yeah, they seem alright. 98. A guy who didn't score, who hasn't scored many goals, our youngster who had a shooting starter over 90, remember, he didn't score in our European game. Safari actually played, our youngster, gave him good bonus. Tubby's put you in, because I know you want some games. Algrim, you're 17-year-old, couldn't say it then. Oh crikey, our goalie's very... The goalie who played, he was really unfit as well, so he did amazingly well, and he got a 5 rating. Okay, you'll be rested. George, who was our first teamer, now is on the bench. But now, Barak is our star goalie. Yep. 200, that's fine. 390, that could do. 4 is missing because there's no player there, so I need to put a number 4 in, and preferably on 100 fitness. Oberman, my God, his tackling's gone up to 99. Wow. Escud, I know you're not playing games, so I'll put you in number 4, and then we just need someone. Yeah. Okay, let's see if that looks. Reserves. Yeah, there you go. The reserves are back. I haven't put a captain. It doesn't really matter on reserve games. So how's our first inns? Oberman in. Yeah, Oberman's in. So Oberman, 99. Bishmir 96, two really good defenders now. Graham is our really good youngster. Oslan is our other really good youngster, so he's on the bench. This is the first team, remember. Midfield strong. Struckenberg, Binsberg, Eskerson, who's our really good youngster youth prospect who could eventually be a striker, but I'll put him on the midfield right. Buki and Belati, yeah. The problem that also you get with a large team is you get a lot of players wanting to play games and their morale then drops. And the way you see their morale is on player miscellaneous, here on status. Now, if you get players who are very unhappy or unhappy, then that gives you a warning that they might want to leave the club because they're not playing enough games. So what you need to do is you can do a couple of things. You can ignore it and then they get even more unhappy. Like here we go, we've got one guy here, Tabiz, who's very unhappy, which means if there was a contract due, he would not sign it because he wants to move to another club. But I'm not panicking too much about him because he's actually on the bench on the first team, so he will get games. I might also put him as the first team sometimes in other league games to give the other 2 strikers a bit of a rest. Norman, he's unhappy, but he's going out on loan to Celtic, so that should change. Content, you can bear a content, but keep an eye on them. Escud, there you go, he's unhappy. He's a leader type, but he's actually a very good backup defender. But because we have got some really decent youngsters coming in, he might not get a game, so he might eventually be sold. So what you do when you get a player very unhappy and you need to, well, hopefully make them feel a bit more happy. For instance, we'll do one player, but we won't actually do the final bit. So Toynoven, for instance, you go to player interaction, then take 2 weeks off, paid leave, and then I want to see you back in the training more motivated. I think this option, I want you to consider your future in this club, is when a player's asked for a transfer. And then they might change their mind, which is unlikely, I'm afraid. But anyway, you go 2 weeks paid leave, and then I hope to see you back training more motivated. I'm not doing this one. So, there you go. That's what my mailbox looks like at the moment. So I've tidied it up a lot. I've had some requests for friendlies from other human sides I've accepted. Like recently I've done Man United. So fixtures friendlies, and that's empty now. We've got a lot more friendlies coming out against West Ham mostly, and then there's Man United. I've got to need to set them because it's such a gap between the league, I might put a first team in, but that depends if we qualify from here, because then the third round will appear along here. So at the moment, I think I better just put the reserves in. So you select reserves. Game for Man United. Select reserves. 2 more friendlies here in between league games, so that's always going to be reserves. Again, in your reserve side, always put players you like to develop. Now, like youngsters. But that depends what side you're playing. If your reserves are playing a larger level side, reserve side, then your players will get good ratings. Your stats will go green. If you're playing a side that are same level as you or lower level you might get the dreaded reds, which means they play a friendly game, but their ratings actually get worse because it's not competitive. So it's a bit hit and miss, I'm afraid. And yeah. So that's what the team I'm still trying to free transfer a couple of players. Our current squad strength is 48, which is still way too high. I need to get it down to about 42. The board still keeps me warning that it's the squad's too big. But we have got a really good amount of decent youngsters now on this side. It's going to be tricky trying to keep all the youngsters happy. I'm going to put a lot of them on loan list. Hopefully get a lot more loan bids. So if anyone wants any of these players on loan, then just let me know. But yeah, we're doing pretty decently at the moment, so it'll be interesting how we start the season. The boards are not asking for big demands, so they're only asking for above middle on the table, so hoping for third. So maximum of third, no lower than 11th, so 3rd to 7th is okay. So between where Malmo is there down to Treyburg. So if we finish anywhere between here, the board will be fine. If we finish anywhere from 11th downwards, you're probably going to get fired. If you finish anyway from 3rd to 1st, you'll be the best manager in the world and the board will love you. I think our aim is 3rd upwards. I think we got a really good squad building up, but it's still not that experienced. But anyway, that's it for now. So the next time you'll hear from me will be episode 15, and I'll let you know if we got past Utrecht in our second leg. It's going to be tough, but especially as we're now away and they've got the away goal. But this is the first team playing this game this time, not the reserves. So hopefully we're going to do really well. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please send any comments if you like, and if you're new to Soccer Sim, well, it used to be called, now called Managersim, of course, then please join this game. This game is free. If you want to know how to register, then go back to episode 1. That gives you all the details. How to join, and join this really friendly, interactive, great football management game. That's Donut Donny for now, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.